In the modern era, chaos unfolds as buildings collapse under the assault of a monstrous creature. Amidst the destruction, a lone fighter stands his ground against the beast. The man, wielding blades in both hands, charges with precision. With a swift strike, he takes down the monster. Breathing heavily, he states that he has now killed 32 monsters. In the year 2024, after the event known as the Great Cataclysm, the world transformed into a living hell plagued by grotesque monsters. The disparity between humans and monsters became undeniable. Only those who had broken past human limitations could hope to stand against them. Even military reinforcements and advanced weaponry proved useless in the face of such overwhelming power. During one encounter, a military unit attempts to engage the monsters. However, their efforts are futile. A lone surviving soldier desperately calls for backup, but the response is too slow. As a monster lunges toward the soldier, a black-haired man appears, defeating the beast in a single strike. This man, still counting the number of kills, is known simply as K, an S-rank warrior. Until now, everything had gone smoothly for K. But suddenly, a massive monster emerges without warning. K is taken aback. The creature doesn't match any of the information he had received. Confused, he asks someone to confirm the monster count and questions whether he had been misinformed. A long-haired man nearby laughs and reminds K that he had insisted on being called Master. He explains that since he is not stationed at the front lines, some errors in intel are to be expected. Before K can respond, someone warns him that another monster is approaching fast. The attack comes too suddenly. K fails to dodge or counter in time. Monster strikes and takes down the hero. A voice nearby asks if K is dead. Lying motionless, K realizes he can't move. In that moment, he accepts the cruel truth. He can't escape his fate as a pawn of the organization. As he takes what he believes to be his final breath, K wonders if he'll ever be free, even for just a single day. K suddenly opens his eyes to find children's toys scattered in front of him. Confused, he tries to make sense of what just happened. The last thing he remembers is dying at the hands of a monster. He lifts his hands, and to his shock, they're small. He has been turned into a child. K grows tense when he hears footsteps approaching. Fearing that the organization may have found him, he prepares for the worst. But to his surprise, a gentle woman walks in, smiles warmly, and asks if baby K is awake. She then lovingly tells him that his mother has arrived. Baby K is stunned. Everything around him looks normal. He can hear sounds from outside. No screams, no monsters. The television works, the streets seem peaceful, and life appears untouched by the horrors he knew. For the first time, he wonders if he has been reincarnated into another dimension, one where the Great Cataclysm never occurred and the organization never existed. Hope fills his heart. Maybe, just maybe, he is finally free. Baby K silently thanks the heavens and vows to remember this moment as the beginning of a new life. But when he glances at the calendar hanging on the wall, his heart shatters. The date reads, 2020. He is not in a different dimension. He is 4 years in the past, before the Great Cataclysm. Panic sets in. Trapped in the fragile body of a baby, he realizes he's powerless to stop the future he knows is coming. But then, he steels himself. Declaring that nothing is impossible, he decides to fight fate from the very beginning. He tries to stand up, but his legs fail him. He falls back down, still in the early stages of learning to balance. Speaking proves just as difficult. He can't form words, leaving him frustrated and helpless, knowing every second is precious. He turns to the woman and contemplates his next move. A darker part of him suggests using her to his advantage, manipulating her if needed. Maybe she has some redeeming qualities, perhaps agility or intelligence. As he observes her, she reaches into a cabinet and accidentally bumps her head on a box. K watches in silence. So much for agility. Baby K realizes that the woman isn't agile at all. He then wonders if she might at least have skillful hands, but that hope quickly fades. As a last resort, Baby K considers whether she might know how to cook, but even that turns out to be a disaster. This leads him to the painful conclusion: the woman is completely incompetent. Noticing the change in his expression, the woman walks over with a baby feeder and reassures him, saying there's no need to worry because she's just cooking. But to Baby K, it already feels like the end of the world. He lies back down, as he begins to reflect on the road ahead, one that seems filled with nothing but hardship and frustration. Suddenly, the doorbell rings in their apartment. The woman, assuming it's her delivery, rushes to answer it. She opens the door and tells the person to wait while she fetches her purse to pay for the package. It's been a long time since Baby K heard the word package, a reminder of his days as a tool of the organization. His mind immediately jumps to a new concern. If the visitor is a delivery person, they've likely been in contact with many people, and that means they could be infected. Baby K hears voices at the door and, filled with dread, glances toward it. His fear is confirmed. The delivery person is actually infected and steps inside their home. The monster now stands in the entrance. He scans his surroundings, desperately searching for anything he can use to defend himself. All he finds is a cushion and his milk bottle. Thinking quickly, Baby K throws the cushion out of the crib, hoping to distract the monster. But it's too late. The creature is already lunging toward him. In a split-second move, Baby K dodges the attack and falls onto the cushion he had tossed earlier. He regains his footing and instinctively takes a battle stance. He knows that even a single touch from the monster could kill him. In his past life, Baby K had gained deep knowledge of monsters through real-life combat experience. He understands now more than ever that, with a fragile human body, especially one of a baby, it's utterly impossible to win in direct confrontation. From his analysis, he identifies the intruder as a power-type monster. Its brute strength is dangerous enough, but the tentacles protruding from its head make it even more threatening. Still, Baby K refuses to back down. Drawing from his past experience, he formulates a risky plan. He rolls his milk bottle toward the monster, which causes it to turn and charge. As expected, its heavy body struggles to maneuver quickly in tight spaces. The monster crashes into a window and falls out of the building. That type of monster may be strong, but its inability to handle sharp turns was its weakness, one Baby K expertly exploited. He feels a surge of satisfaction. His previous life, filled with brutal battles and survival instincts, is now proving useful even in this infant form. But just as he begins to relax, something even stranger happens. A tail-like appendage suddenly emerges from Baby K's body and slithers toward the fallen monster. It extracts a glowing stone from the creature's remains and starts devouring it. Baby K stares in disbelief, shocked at what he has just witnessed. Baby K grabs his tail and realizes that it's an ability carried over from his previous life. The tail is called Tao Tai. He begins to wonder why a skill from his past life still exists in his current one. Then a thought strikes him. He was born 3 years after the Great Catastrophe, which is set to occur 4 years from now. The timeline doesn't make any sense to him, but he pushes the confusion aside. Regardless of how it's possible, he's relieved. Taoya's tail has the power to absorb monsters' cores and transform their abilities into his own, making it an invaluable asset. Grateful to possess his former abilities, Baby K decides to test Taoya's power. He tries shaping the tail into a sharp edge and strikes the crib to gauge its output. The result is astonishing. In this world, the younger an adopter awakens, the greater their potential. In his previous life, he awakened at the age of 7 and reached S-class. But now, as a baby, his power already rivals the legendary SSS class. Pleased, Baby K grins to himself, believing his era of a carefree life has finally begun. With nothing holding him back, he decides to leave the apartment. He begins crawling with his tiny feet, determined to embrace his newfound freedom. But just as he starts moving, his body collapses to the floor. The earlier attack on the crib had loosened a screw, and now the structure begins to tip over. As it crashes down, Baby K slowly loses consciousness. Before everything fades to black, he sees the woman rushing toward him in a panic, calling out his name, Ag. And suddenly, he awakens with a jolt. He sits up, disoriented, and wonders if the woman saved him. Trying to piece things together, he concludes that he lost consciousness because his powers are simply too overwhelming for his baby body to manage. From his earlier attempt, he estimates that he can only maintain his abilities for about 30 seconds. This realization troubles him. He needs to become stronger, fast. While thinking about his limitations, he notices the woman crying silently in a corner. Curious, he watches her write something in her diary. It turns out she's blaming herself, believing she hurt her precious child. Baby K then notices a bruise on her shoulder, likely from protecting him during the crib collapse. In his past life, his mother had been the kind of person who would have sold him to the organization without hesitation. But this woman, she was different. Moved by her kindness, Baby K reaches out and touches her. The moment she feels his hand, she immediately pulls him into a hug. Though he had planned to leave, Baby K decides to stay a little longer. He knows he doesn't have much time. The world will begin to change drastically within the next week. Another monster will soon appear. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, a man is cleaning the windows of a tall building when he suddenly becomes infected. His body mutates, transforming into a slime-type monster. Back at the apartment, Baby K tries to focus on his next steps, but his thoughts are interrupted when the woman walks in, smiling brightly. She announces that she has a surprise for him. Pulling back the curtain, she reveals a large dog she adopted from a neighbor. Baby K is stunned. The dog is enormous, far too dangerous to be around a baby. He's baffled by her absent-mindedness, but quickly shifts his perspective. Perhaps this could be an opportunity. He thinks about training the dog to help fight monsters, or even using it for transportation. Grinning at the idea, he imagines future battles where the dog could be his trusted companion. The woman, misinterpreting his expression, assumes he's simply happy to see a dog. Later, while she washes dishes in the kitchen, Baby K decides it's time to establish dominance. He prepares some food and offers it to the dog, sitting regally like a king. He believes that once the dog eats the food, it will recognize him as its master. As expected, the dog eagerly approaches and begins eating. Confident, Baby K places his foot on the dog's head, a gesture meant to assert authority. But the reaction is far from what he anticipated. The dog becomes aggressive and knocks him over. Unwilling to let it slide, Baby K retaliates. The two begin an all-out brawl, locked in a comical yet intense scuffle. Unaware of the chaos behind her, the woman hums happily in the kitchen, convinced that the two have become perfect playmates. While cooking, she realizes she's out of flour and turns to retrieve more. Just as she does, the same slime-like monster from earlier emerges silently from the kitchen sink. While the woman searches the cupboard for flour, the dog sees the slime-like monster and immediately rushes toward her, barking furiously. It pushes the woman aside to protect her from the monster's sudden attack. The clueless and overly innocent woman ends up getting stuck inside the cupboard and asks in confusion what's going on. Meanwhile, Baby K instantly recognizes the type of creature they're facing. Slime-like monsters are considered weak but incredibly troublesome due to their liquid bodies, which render them immune to both slashing and piercing attacks. The dog continues barking to hold the creature at bay, but as the woman tries to free herself, she hits her head again. The dog snarls at the slime creature in frustration, but then the monster suddenly begins to shape-shift. Baby K knows that its one major weakness is dehydration. Quickly scanning the room, he spots the milk bottle nearby. It hasn't been mixed yet, it only contains powdered formula. Without hesitation, Baby K grabs the bottle, opens the lid, and hurls the powdered contents at the monster. Upon contact, the slime stops morphing and begins to panic as it rapidly loses moisture. Taking advantage of its immobilized state, Baby K grabs a dustbin, traps the monster inside it, and sits on top to keep it sealed. He successfully handles the entire situation without the woman noticing and silently praises himself. The dog, feeling embarrassed for not acting sooner, lowers its head in shame. As the woman stands up, she accidentally spills the bag of flour all over herself. Both the dog and the woman start crying, which makes Baby K wonder if he now has two clumsy companions in his life. Deciding to clean up, the woman heads to the bathroom to wash off the flour. Despite her constant misfortune, Baby K considers himself lucky. He just captured a slime-like monster, which could be useful. He thinks about using it as a natural insect repellent, or perhaps even coating the windows with it to create a shatterproof barrier. As he's lost in thought, the trapped monster manages to escape from the dustbin. This time, however, the dog reacts swiftly and lunges at it. While the dog engages the slime, Baby K tries once again to trap it using the dustbin. Unfortunately, the monster dodges the attempt and leaps out of the window, mocking both Baby K and the dog as it flees. Frustrated, Baby K and the dog exchange glances. They're not letting it get away this time. Forming an impromptu team, they decide to chase the monster down. Baby K opens the apartment door using an umbrella, mounts the dog, and they charge outside together. They exit the building and spot the slime monster in the act of attacking a young girl. Some of the monster's slime splatters onto her, alerting her to the danger. She starts screaming in fear. Baby K is caught in a dilemma. If he uses his powers now, his body may not withstand the strain. But if he doesn't act, the monster will parasite the girl, and she will die. It's a sight he remembers all too well from his previous life, and he refuses to let it happen again. Determined, Baby K and the dog charge at the slime. Just as the monster is about to latch onto the girl, they intervene, using the umbrella to shield her and knock the creature away. Baby K tells himself that if he uses his power briefly, he might be able to finish the fight without collapsing. The monster tries to flee once more, but Baby K activates his power. Channeling just enough energy, he strikes with precision and finally defeats the slime-like creature. It turns out the girl is terrified of both Baby K and the dog, and she quickly runs away. Baby K chooses not to follow her, and instead begins cleaning up the remains of the monster. Suddenly, Tao Tai, his tail, emerges on its own and absorbs the monster's ability. Baby K is stunned to discover that the tail can now absorb a second ability. In his past life, whenever he acquired a new power, it would always replace the previous one. Curious, Baby K tests whether both abilities can be used simultaneously, and to his surprise, they coexist without conflict. In his former life, he avoided switching abilities too frequently to keep the organization from finding out. Ironically, that caution ultimately led to his downfall. Now, he begins to wonder why Tao Tai has evolved. He concludes that it's likely due to his young age. The younger the age at which adaptation occurs, the stronger the resulting power. He had awakened at the age of 10 in his past life, but all candidates younger than that had died from the toxins monster's release. Most children couldn't endure them. However, his current self has adapted at an even younger age, meaning his growth potential is beyond measure. Eventually, Baby K and the dog return to their apartment building. Baby K dismounts and starts using his abilities to coat the entrance with the monster's slime, creating a protective barrier. After covering just a small area, he collapses from exhaustion. The effort worries him, not just the strain of using his powers, but also his severely limited physical strength. Although the coating should keep monsters at bay for now, Baby K is disturbed by the intense look in the dog's eyes. Suddenly, the dog picks him up by the back of his clothes and begins walking. Meanwhile, the woman returns from her shower and is delighted to find Baby K and the dog lying peacefully next to each other, even though the dog's heavy leg is resting on Baby K. Sometime later, the dog continues sleeping, but Baby K wakes up and resumes his work. He applies the slime coating to the windows, air vents, and drains. With this, Baby K feels confident that, even if the great cataclysm begins, their home will remain safe for a while. He's also starting to understand the current state of his tail more clearly. Due to his young age, he can store up to 4 abilities, but for now, he can only use 2, and only for a maximum of 30 seconds. Baby K sits down, deep in thought. He realizes that the most essential resource for surviving the great cataclysm isn't power, but supplies. In his past life, most deaths weren't caused by monsters, but by starvation, due to halted logistics and brutal conflicts over food. If he can stockpile supplies in advance, he can avoid these conflicts, and even gain influence over others. As he ponders how to secure resources, he notices a newspaper lying nearby. He thinks about acquiring supplies quickly, but he knows crowded places like supermarkets will be the first to fall once monsters appear. If the infection spreads rapidly, like rats multiplying, he won't be able to manage multiple enemies. Handling even a single monster is already a challenge. Baby K tries to list alternative supply sources, but isn't sure of the best approach. Just then, a notification sound rings from the woman's smartphone. Curious, Baby K turns to check it. The phone isn't password protected, so he opens it and sees a message from the landlord's group chat. The group is discussing a virus that's reportedly turning people into monsters. Some members don't believe the claims, dismissing them as rumors. Frustrated, Baby K decides to intervene. He creates a new account and sends a warning to the group, urging everyone to gather supplies immediately because a major disaster is imminent. Instead of taking him seriously, the members mock him and tell him to at least complete his profile before making such dramatic claims. Baby K becomes anxious. If they don't listen, many of them will die even before the organization ever forms. Suddenly, he receives a friend request and accepts it, curious about the sender. The username is Hot, and the person asks if he's looking for supplies. She wants to make a deal. The name strikes a chord in Baby K's memory. Soon, he recalls that Hot is someone associated with the organization. The scene shifts to a dimly lit room where Hot is sitting in a chair, staring at her phone. She smiles and comments to herself that she's excited. Hot scrolls through the replies from Baby K. He asks about her plan, which makes her think he's a troublesome kid. Still, she decides to send him her proposal. She will provide all the supplies he wants, whether food, water, or even armor. She has everything he needs. However, the information comes at a price, 100 million yen. Fortunately for Baby K, transporting supplies is a hassle for Hot as well. So, she makes him an offer. If he promises to give her 20% of the supplies he gathers, she'll provide the information for free. As Baby K reads her message, he picks up on her tone, which resembles that of a high school girl. This confirms his suspicion. The person messaging him is indeed Hot. Baby K then asks why he should trust her. They continue exchanging messages until he finally asks where the supplies are located. Hot replies that she has placed the information in the mailbox of the apartment building where Baby K lives. Baby K is certain that Hot is not an executive since the organization hasn't formed yet. Still, she is a dangerous woman, one who manipulates people using information. Once she sets her sights on someone, she uses every trick she knows to exploit them. Baby K is fully aware that she's not trying to befriend him. This is bait. But this time, he's determined to be the one in control. After resting for 2 hours to recover his stamina, Baby K decides it's time to retrieve the information. The elevator is out of the question since it has a security camera, so the stairs are his only option. But with his small, childlike body, he can't climb them alone. That leaves just one solution: the dog. Baby K crawls over and grabs the dog's tail to wake him. The dog opens one eye, then lazily flicks his tail to brush Baby K away. Shocked, thinking he had already tamed the dog, Baby K looks over at the bag of dog food and decides to use it as a bribe. The moment the dog smells the food, he agrees to help. Baby K silently mocks him for being so easy to manipulate. Riding on the dog's back, Baby K makes his way outside, trying to return before the woman wakes up. They reach the mailbox, but Baby K immediately notices the presence of a security camera. This makes him suspicious. Hot is likely trying to confirm his identity using the footage. If she succeeds, she could sell his information instantly. Since she never targets people she doesn't know, Baby K decides to confuse her. He places a hand on the wall and scans the surroundings. Soon, he detects 3 hidden cameras in addition to the obvious one. He smirks at the discovery, amused that Hot thinks she can expose him with such cheap tricks. Meanwhile, Hot lounges in her chair. She watches the surveillance feed, curious about who will retrieve the information from the mailbox. Suddenly, her phone vibrates, and she receives a notification that the target has collected the data. This shocks her. She immediately checks the footage, but all she sees is a dog. She doesn't understand how it happened. It turns out Baby K cleverly positioned himself in the dog's blind spot, avoiding every camera. He hid the woman's smartphone on the dog's body and quietly took the flyer from the mailbox. Back upstairs, they sit together to read the document containing the supply locations. Soon, Hot sends Baby K a voice message asking for his identity. In response, he jokes that if she sends him 100 million yen, he'll tell her who he is. Infuriated by the reply, Hot slams her phone on the table and yells that she'll make him regret it. She rushes to her computer and begins typing furiously, activating a small robotic spider. She orders it to scan the entire apartment building. Hot is confident. This isn't just any spider. It's one she purchased for 30 million yen. It's equipped with high-end specs: camera, dust-proofing, waterproofing, low-temperature resistance, anti-magnetic coating, high-speed mobility, and even an electric shock function. The spider begins scanning the building room by room. But just as it's about to reach the dog, the woman, climbing the stairs, steps on it by accident, crushing it beneath her heel. Hot watches in horror as her 30 million yen investment is destroyed in an instant. Meanwhile, the woman sees Baby K and the dog and cheerfully asks what they're doing out there. Both Baby K and the dog freeze, stunned by her sudden appearance. Hot starts crying over the loss of her precious spider, but suddenly hears voices coming through the spider's panel and realizes it also had a call function. Hearing a woman's voice enrages her. She quickly grabs her headphones and declares that she hasn't lost yet. She can still hear them. With this advantage, she believes she can take her time plotting revenge and even expose all of Baby K's messages and dark past across the internet. She mocks him and demands a response. But she's being completely ignored because they can't hear her at all. Hot becomes increasingly curious about Baby K's true identity. Meanwhile, the woman scolds Baby K, telling him it's dangerous to be on the stairs. The spider's data output function is destroyed, but its input is still working at 4%. Realizing this, Hot suddenly decides to provide Baby K with the information for free and agrees to supply him as well. Baby K, pleased that she has surrendered, wonders what that drama was all about. Later, the woman stands on the balcony, hanging clothes out to dry. Baby K watches her, noting that she still believes the dog opened the door on its own and thinks he had been half asleep during the whole incident. Because of this misunderstanding, Baby K won't be able to use the dog as his ride for a while. The woman has tied it up. He quietly decides to help the dog later. Baby K recalls the intel Hot provided. A warehouse-style supermarket will be opening soon. This makes him suspicious. He wonders if Hot is simply offering inventory she stole from others. It would be unusually generous of her to share something so valuable. Eager to secure the supplies quickly, Baby K places a flyer on the table, hoping the woman will notice it. But she doesn't. Baby K realizes he has to do something to draw her attention to it. However, directly telling her about the end of the world is out of the question. It would be too shocking. Just then, the woman mentions that they're running low on powdered milk. Baby K seizes the opportunity. Pretending to sleep, he nudges a can of powdered milk with his hand, causing it to fall. The woman notices and laughs, saying it's a good thing Baby K didn't wake up. Then she notices the supermarket flyer lying on the table. She picks it up, reads it, and decides she'll visit the store next time. Baby K feels relieved. His mission was a success. Later that day, the woman prepares to go outside with Baby K. But he's not happy at all. He's wearing girls' clothes. Meanwhile, the dog remains behind to watch over the house. As they head out of the building, a security guard stops them and asks why they're going out. He warns her about the infectious disease that's been spreading and advises everyone to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. The woman replies that she needs to buy powdered milk. Upon hearing that, the officer urges her not to trouble the government during this crisis. But Baby K silently thinks that these government workers will all be gone soon. The officer insists that he's only doing his job and tells her to return home and remain there until things settle down. But just then, a monster appears, grabs the officer's face, and kills him instantly, right in front of the woman and Baby K. Baby K immediately recognizes the creature. It's a proliferative type, strong, fast, and without a clear weakness. If he doesn't act now, both he and the woman will die. There's no time to hesitate. But before Baby K can make a move, the woman grabs him and starts running. This only heightens his concern. Running is useless. The monster is far faster than any human. Sure enough, it quickly circles around and blocks their path. Baby K spots a fire extinguisher nearby and uses his ability to break it open. A cloud of gas erupts, engulfing all three of them. In the chaos, Baby K activates his power, deciding to attack while visibility is low. As the dust surrounds them, Baby K enhances his legs and his eyes glow red. He estimates he has 30 seconds to finish the fight, and he's determined to win. The only problem now is that Baby K must finish the battle before the woman notices anything. Although the monster is still stunned from the earlier impact, time is running out. Baby K quickly formulates a strategy. He knows that the proliferative type monster has its core in its head. If he strikes it there, the monster will die in a single hit. But despite his earlier attacks, the monster remains unharmed. That means his next move has to end it. The monster charges toward him. Baby K swiftly dodges and activates his ability, forming a string-like weapon to strike. Unfortunately, he misses the vital point. Still, he's confident. He enhances his legs for speed, evades another punch, and launches another string attack, inflicting more damage. Due to its massive size, the monster struggles to land accurate blows on such a small opponent. It can't use its full strength against a baby. Baby K continues evading every attack with ease, darting around like a nimble mouse. Now invisibly exhausted, the monster begins to slow down. Baby K is pleased. His hard-earned experience is paying off. With the monster's power significantly weakened, one final strike should be enough. But then, something unexpected happens. The monster rips the door off a nearby car and uses it as a shield, creating distance between itself and Baby K. With no choice, Baby K backs off too. The monster suddenly swings the car door, grazing Baby K's head, and he grows more cautious. Getting close again won't be easy. He considers a surprise attack, but has no way of distracting the monster. With only seconds left before his powers wear off, Baby K begins to think that retreat might be the only option. But just then, something unexpected shocks him. He sees that the woman is already awake and looking for him. In her search, she unknowingly steps right in front of the monster. To Baby K's astonishment, she adjusts her clothes and seems to brace herself, ready to confront the monster head-on. There's no way she can fight it, and yet, she pulls out a taser gun and shouts at the monster to return her baby. Baby K quickly calms himself. This is his chance. While the monster is distracted by the woman's bold move, Baby K leaps into the air and channels his remaining strength into one final attack. The monster lashes out toward the woman, but she narrowly avoids the blow. At the same time, Baby K releases his full power and strikes, landing a critical hit. The monster is finally defeated. The woman, now unconscious from the encounter, collapses. Baby K looks at her in silence, realizing that he might not have survived without her help. He's surprised. She risked her life to protect him. Overcome with exhaustion, Baby K also falls to the ground. He acknowledges that he still has a long way to go. Much more training is needed. As he loses consciousness, he reaches out and allows the woman to hold his hand. Sometime later, Baby K slowly opens his eyes, only to see a suspicious long-haired man changing his diaper. Alarmed and thinking the man is a pervert, seeing what happened, the woman immediately apologizes to the long-haired man, but he tells her there's no need. He says it looks like he scared Baby K. Then he asks if Baby K is getting along with the dog. The woman confirms it, but Baby K is annoyed and wonders if this long-haired man is the dog's previous owner. The man comments that it's a big help that she and Baby K are taking care of the dog. The woman smiles and places Baby K in her lap, assuring him that they haven't had any trouble with the dog at all. Meanwhile, Baby K suspects that the long-haired man must have seen the monster earlier, yet he's acting so calmly, as if nothing happened. Baby K touches his own hair and wonders if it's still damp, then remembers how the woman had been crying before. This time, too, she must have been hiding and crying again. The woman's name is Hayashi. The long-haired man tells her they're going to hoard supplies and asks her to get ready. She agrees. Baby K, overhearing their conversation, thinks that cooperating with others to gather supplies isn't a bad strategy. Suddenly, he remembers that he never collected the monster's crystal core. He climbs down and sneaks outside to retrieve it. After locating the core, he uses his tail to absorb it. Almost immediately, he can feel the monster's hardening trait being integrated into his body. He's pleased. This ability can now be used as a shield during battle. While heading back, Baby K hears someone talking on the phone and hides to observe. It's the long-haired man. He's speaking about Baby K and Hayashi, saying their burdens. However, he adds that's exactly why they're bringing them along, because in an emergency, they can be used as bait. Baby K is horrified. Not only is the man dangerous, but he also left a dog with a household that includes a baby. The long-haired man continues the call, instructing the person on the other end to bring another vehicle and stockpile even more supplies. Just then, he hears the sound of a shattering mirror and immediately turns to investigate. He finds Baby K hiding nearby. Smiling, he pats Baby K's head and casually asks how he managed to get outside. Then, still on the call, he says the baby overheard everything, but reassures the caller that it's fine. After all, he can kill the baby easily if needed. Baby K is stunned. The long-haired man is completely insane. Later, they all gather, and step into a car. There are 6 people in total, including the long-haired man, who is referred to as the old man. Baby K thinks that if he could use his powers right now, he could take him down easily. The old man offers snacks to everyone, but Baby K remains on alert. He wonders why they're going outside when they know monsters are out there. The old man explains that they're heading out and signals to one of his men to follow in a truck. Baby K realizes that this is a psychological defense mechanism. Even after seeing monsters, people try to pretend everything is normal because they're not ready to face the reality of the great cataclysm. The old man asks Hayashi if she has a sandwich. She hands one over. Hayashi and Baby K live in apartment 502. Sora, the resident of apartment 103, asks if he can have a hot dog. As Hayashi opens the box, Den asks if it's hard for her to raise a baby alone. Lu Kashien, from apartment 104, joins in, commenting that Hayashi looks young and pretty, and questions whether it's safe for her to be out at all. Hayashi replies that she was hesitant to bring Baby K, but when left alone, he always does whatever he wants. So after much thought, she decided to take him with her. Meanwhile, Baby K silently begs her not to reveal anything else. Another member of the group is Chun Shi, from apartment 504. The long-haired man then announces that Hayashi will be part of their combat team because the monster from earlier was taken down by her taser. They also now have the dog with them in the truck. Hayashi nervously admits that she doesn't remember much of what happened. Baby K, of course, knows she has no combat ability at all. The old man tries to reassure her, saying there shouldn't be any more monsters around. But as he finishes speaking, they suddenly see a young girl running toward them, crying and being chased by several monsters. All 6 people instantly go on high alert, fear rising in their eyes. The long-haired man immediately tells everyone to hold on to something and slams the brakes, swerving the car sharply. The dog starts barking wildly as the girl outside screams for help, begging them to save her from the monsters. Hayashi grips her seat tightly, trembling with fear. Baby K sighs internally, wondering why he's having such a chaotic day. Once again, he finds himself surrounded by monsters. He carefully examines the creatures, their insect-like heads, and the sting marks on their necks, and comes to a grim conclusion. These are artificial humans, created by an insect tamer. Insect tamers are parasite-type monsters that infect humans and transform them into mindless artificial beings. Though each one isn't powerful on its own, they overwhelm with sheer numbers, and those numbers are still growing. Given the situation, the most logical choice would be to run. But before they can make a move, their car is surrounded. The creatures are not only climbing onto the vehicle, but also starting to shatter the windshield. Baby K considers using his power, but doing so would reveal his identity to the others. Worse, his ability only lasts for 30 seconds. If he uses it all now, he'll be left completely vulnerable. He quickly assesses the others in the vehicle, wondering if anyone among them has any real combat ability. Lu notices the girl outside, being attacked by the monsters. She demands that someone do something to help. She and Den begin arguing about what to do, which irritates Baby K. He realizes that Lu is indirectly suggesting he go out and save the girl. To him, people like her are just dead weight in situations like this, more burden than benefit. She doesn't look like someone who can fight either. Then Chun, the old man, interrupts. He points out that it's already too late. The girl has the same neck wounds as the infected monsters. Baby K silently praises Chun for his sharp observation skills. While Chun seems too old for combat, Baby K now considers him useful for supply transport. The long-haired man decides to charge into the monsters. He believes it's better to strike before they're completely overrun. Baby K feels a deep sense of dread. The man is reckless and unreliable in a crisis, and even the truck driver seems just as careless. Suddenly, Den shouts that he'll go outside and fight. Baby K briefly wonders if Den is the type to go berserk under pressure, but quickly realizes he's not dependable at all. Trying to stay calm, Baby K searches for a solution but comes up blank. His anxiety spikes when Hayashi says she'll fight too and begins searching her purse for a weapon. Den laughs at her, saying that if she's going, then there's no need for him to leave the vehicle. As Den turns to thank her, a monster bursts through the window, takes him down with a single strike. Lu gasps in horror, then monster starts to climb in. Panic sets in. The creature lunges at Lu, striking at her and taking her down instantly. Baby K watches in horror and recognizes the threat immediately. This one isn't a drone. It's the main body. After taking down Lu, the monster turns its attention to Hayashi. Baby K wonders how the monster stayed hidden until now. He prepares to use his tail. There's no other option. Just as the monster strikes, Baby K shoves Hayashi out of the way, narrowly saving her. Before the monster can attack again, Chin steps forward. He anticipates that this creature is the leader of the swarm and launches a counterattack. Baby K is stunned by Chin's movement. The monster strikes, but Chin catches it midair and crushes it with his bare hands. He tosses the monster out of the car and calmly remarks that he must be getting old. Baby K is in awe. Chin's strength and precision are incredible. But the battle isn't over yet. The monster lying on the ground has another stage of transformation, and they can't afford to relax. Baby K doesn't fully understand who the old man is, but he knows one thing for certain. Striking a monster like this at his vitals isn't enough to kill it. Just as he anticipated, the creature begins to rise again. Its movements make it clear it's about to launch another attack. Baby K can't speak properly, but he knows he must alert the old man before it's too late. He yells with all his strength. The old man turns just in time, narrowly dodging a sudden attack. This isn't the first time the old man has faced something like this. In his past, when he served with the Special Combat Division, he encountered creatures just like this one. He knows exactly what to do. His precision and calmness in battle reveal his extensive training. This man is no ordinary survivor. He's a former member of the Special Combat Division. He jumps off the vehicle and charges the monster, determined to end it for good. Ordinary methods won't work now. Grabbing the monster, he starts continuously striking at the monster from all directions. And finally, the old man was able to take down the monster. Even from his limited movement so far, it's obvious that he has advanced combat knowledge. Baby K realizes he should have known earlier that this old man was military trained. Compared to everyone else here, he has far more refined skills. In his previous life, when Baby K was nothing more than the organization's tool, he heard rumors that, after the fall of the government, the military remained as the last bastion fighting against monsters. They were the organization's biggest obstacle. And at the heart of that military resistance was the Special Combat Division. Known for their brutal training and effectiveness, they were feared even by the organization. Thanks to the old man's strength, the group is finally able to travel safely to the supermarket to collect supplies. Hayashi suggests that they return home right after, but Chun, the old man, firmly refuses. He tells her that if they return home now, something worse will happen. They must keep moving forward. It's clear now, they have a reliable ally in the group. However, Baby K begins thinking of ways to make this man stay with them permanently. Perhaps he can forge a military order or blackmail Hot into giving him intel that, or maybe he could find a way to manipulate him directly. The idea of controlling someone as powerful as Chun brings a wicked smile to Baby K's face. While he's still plotting, Chun gently pats Baby K's head. He then instructs Hayashi to stay close with Baby K, saying that he will look after them as best as he can. She agrees immediately and promises not to be a burden. She says she'll follow wherever he goes. Chun warns her not to expect too much from him. He only wants to help them survive. She thanks him for helping her defeat the boss monster earlier, but he brushes it off, asking her not to bring it up. He adds that if Baby K hadn't cried out, they all would have been killed during the monster's attack. Then, speaking directly to Baby K, he says, "The more foolish a person is, the more they desire power." The comment hits hard. It's as if he read Baby K's thoughts and sensed his selfish intentions. Baby K folds his arms, silently resolving to accept the man's help, for now, but deep down, he knows that Chin's upright character might become an obstacle in the future. At last, they arrive at the supermarket they had been heading toward since the beginning. But the gate is closed. It's frustrating. The advertisement had said the store would be open, yet here it is, completely shut down. Baby K immediately suspects Hot. She's a hacking genius, and there's little doubt in his mind that she closed the store remotely. Suddenly, the gate begins to open. The old man casually remarks that he asked a friend to open it from elsewhere. As he says this, he winks and smiles, reminding them not to forget to thank his friend. The long-haired man narrows his eyes, clearly suspicious. Meanwhile, Baby K stealthily pulls his mother's phone from her bag and checks the messages. As expected, Hot had sent a message recently. She said she saw their vehicle on a nearby security camera and opened the gate for them. That confirms it. The old man and Hot know each other. This revelation makes Baby K uncomfortable. Both of them are powerful, and both of them are suspicious. Now inside the supermarket, Baby K finally relaxes. They've made it. The building is enormous, and the warehouse section is stocked with an abundance of supplies. Strangely, there are no cameras inside, which means Baby K doesn't need to worry about being seen when he uses his powers. Then he notices something even more interesting. Chen has brought in a full weapons rack. It's only natural for someone from the Special Combat Division, but it confirms his identity beyond any doubt. As they begin exploring, Baby K realizes something odd. The person who had guided them all this way is nowhere to be seen. No employees are present, and the store appears completely abandoned. They can't check out or ask for help. They're on their own. Just as they start searching the warehouse, they hear clapping echoing through the building. They turn to see a man standing ahead of them, smiling wickedly and knocking on the surrounding boxes. It's someone they've seen before. Then, with a confident smirk, he announces, "From this point on, our organization will be taking everything inside this store." The dog also doesn't like the long-haired man much, so it begins barking at him. In response, the long-haired man lifts his shirt to reveal a tattoo, the symbol of their organization, and tells them that he thought breaking into the supermarket would be difficult, so he used them all as tools. But now that they're inside the warehouse, he no longer needs them. Baby K sees the mark and immediately recognizes it. The long-haired man is part of the organization. With a wicked smile, the man declares that all the supplies in the warehouse are now the private property of the East Lotus Society. He warns the others not to interfere, pulling a gun from under his shirt and pointing it directly at Chun, warning him not to move. As soon as Baby K hears the name East Lotus Society, he confirms what he suspected. They are the forerunners of the organization, the enforcers of the hunting project. Even before the Great Cataclysm, they were involved in criminal activities, stockpiling resources as soon as they sensed the coming disaster. This explains the ominous feeling Baby K had earlier. The long-haired man's smug tone sounds eerily familiar to Baby K. Whether the man is good or evil no longer matters. He's crossed a line. He made Baby K angry. They're now completely surrounded, all because the long-haired man tricked them. Meanwhile, the old man, Chun, also recognizes the name East Lotus Society. Without hesitation, he grabs a shovel, determined to strike first. He hurls the shovel toward the main electrical box and yells for Hayashi to run. The shovel smashes into the circuit box, causing a sudden electrical shock that cuts the power. The lights flicker, sparks fly, and people begin to panic and flee. But Baby K notices something strange. The long-haired man remains completely calm. That gives him a very bad feeling. Just as Chun charges toward him, the long-haired man presses a button on a small remote. Suddenly, a forklift hidden behind the boxes lurches to life and speeds toward them. Chun is caught off guard and is hit hard by the machine. Though injured, Chun remains conscious and struggles to stand. But the long-haired man walks up and points his gun at Chun's head. "I can't let an army veteran like you live," he says coldly. "Move again, and I'll kill you." As he prepares to pull the trigger, Hayashi suddenly raises her stun gun and points it at the long-haired man. "Don't move," she commands firmly. The long-haired man glances at her, amused. "You're seriously asking me why I'm doing this?" "I am," Hayashi replies, her voice steady. "If I shoot, are you going to claim you're innocent?" She adds, "We should all share the supplies. That's the only right thing to do." The long-haired man bursts into laughter. "You're hilarious. Don't act like you're in charge. I didn't think you'd make it out with Baby K. That's impressive." Baby K clenches his fists. His fury is boiling over. Then, without warning, the long-haired man fires his gun into the air and declares, "I'm not sharing the supplies with anyone." The long-haired man signals, and his subordinates come in from all directions, blocking the old man and Baby K's paths of escape. The long-haired man scoffs, saying that people don't understand common sense or their own limits. He declares that weaklings like them deserve to be taken down. Hearing this, Baby K becomes furious. Suddenly, the long-haired man's subordinates surround the dog. Seeing an opportunity, Baby K quickly uses his slime power, launching it toward the power supply. The slime hits the target, and the electricity is cut off. The warehouse is thrown into sudden darkness, and panic spreads among everyone. Despite the chaos, the long-haired man uses his aura to navigate through the dark. But just as he regains control, Baby K activates his power and charges directly at him. As Baby K strikes, the long-haired man barely manages to dodge the attack. Baby K spins around to follow up with another blow, but to his surprise, Chun appears and lands a solid kick on the long-haired man. In that moment, Baby K and Chun lock eyes. Baby K freezes, stunned. He can't believe that Chun has seen him in action. A wave of panic hits him as he realizes the situation is getting worse. If someone from the military discovers what he is, they might think he's a monster. As Chun defeats the long-haired man, he glances toward Baby K and begins to wonder if the baby truly a monster. Without wasting time, Chun suddenly moves to strike at Baby K. But Baby K reacts swiftly, dodging the blow and quickly creating distance between them. Baby K now understands. Chun is suspicious of him. Frustrated, Baby K thinks he has no choice but to take Chun down first. Just then, a new slime monster bursts into the supermarket. The long-haired man's subordinates are shocked to see it. Baby K immediately realizes that everyone's attention has shifted to the monster. With a sly smirk, he thinks to himself that luck is finally on his side. He quickly rushes back toward his seat on the cart. At that moment, Chun turns and sees something strange, a clone of himself standing nearby. Confused, he wonders if the monster has transformed into his likeness. Without warning, the clone strikes Chun. All around the supermarket, the others are also being attacked by similar clones. Chun quickly realizes the terrifying truth. This monster has the ability to create duplicates of its enemies.